Well, good morning to you all, good morning. It is Saturday today, the 22nd of July, 2023. What are we celebrating today? Well, if she was still alive, we would be celebrating my grandmother's birthday. She would have been 123. So we're not actually having a party with her today, but we are going to celebrate and remember that today is the feast of Mary Magdalene. I don't suppose any of you ever knew my grandmother, but I suspect quite a few of you know who Mary Magdalene is. She was the first person to see Jesus after his resurrection. That's a bit of a claim to fame, isn't it? You know, there are people I know who say they saw Johnny Hallyday in concert in Châteauroux. I know people who say they met Bob Stanford Tuck. I never did meet him, but I know people who did. But we celebrate today the first person to see Jesus after he was resurrected. Yeah, we'll think about that through the course of the day. A few things to go and get this morning. I need some diesel. I don't actually need it today, but I will need it tomorrow. And yeah, I won't be able to get it on a Sunday. Actually, not quite true. Could. It would be a long way out of my way. So diesel. For those of you thinking about coming here to France, we don't call it diesel, it's gasoil. On some pumps you will see it labelled as gasol, but properly it's gasoil. At the moment it is cheaper than it was this time last year. Still very expensive. I don't know why my lens seems to have missed it up. Did that make it better? Not really. Okay. Atmospherics. Well, the misty lens seems to have cured itself. Pleased about that. A successful raid on the shops, but some things to contemplate. And I think the message this morning is, if you want to be a rich doctor, you need to have patience. That doesn't actually translate too well into French or German for that matter, but bear with me. I rushed around the supermarché and I grabbed all of the things that I need for life for today and tomorrow and Monday. I started by getting gasoil. It's gone up a centime, it's 1.70 something a litre. And then I rushed all round the Intermarché and I grabbed bits and pieces. And then I went into Bricomarché and I knew exactly what I wanted in there. You might even get to see me use some of it later. And I approached the tills. Now, being a young man, I don't waste time in shops, so I get to the tills before they're all open. And there was just the one till open. The lady who works on that till is incredibly kind. She puts up with all of us idiots that don't speak French and don't know what we're doing. And when I got there, she was being very patient with an old couple. And when I say old, I wouldn't like to give a firm opinion, but I think I'm safe in saying neither of them will see 80 again. And it was all turning into a bit of a nightmare with the shop discount card, and it was obvious that it was going to take some time. Now, this is not an issue with me. They deserve their space. But there were other people queuing up behind me who were starting to get agitated. So another lady came and turned one of the other tills on, but she sort of announced that she was only able to take bank cards. Or now, what sort of bird is that? A pheasant. But that got a couple of people out from behind me, and the new girl arrived. I've never seen this girl before, and she was opening her till properly, you know, counting the coin before you put it in the coin tray and things like that. But she smiled at me and she indicated that she would deal with me next. At which point, a lady in the queue behind me did the sort of standing start for a quarter mile that would make even people who build Model T racers impressed. And she rocketed in front of me and slapped something on the counter of the till. And the young girl smiled at me, and I didn't react. You know, that's life. Anyway, she dealt with that lady, and then she looked at what I'd got, and I took the, you know, the laser pistol thing they use in supermarkets. I took that from her, and I zapped the barcodes on what I was buying, and she thanked me very much. But the woman behind me, who was also huffing and puffing at how long things take, she slapped a bottle of insecticide spray on the counter, and the young girl made the assumption that this other lady was with me, and zapped the barcode of this lady's insecticide. And I had to sort of say, oh no, that's not for me. So the girl on the till apologised, and I turned to the lady behind me, and I'm afraid my patience was close to its limits. And I looked at this lady, and I asked her if she wanted to marry me. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, it all got sorted out, and oddly, the lady declined my proposal, and she did sort of apologise for being a bit hasty. But there we are. Lessons from the supermarket tills. Have patience. Patience will cost you 10 seconds. I can make up 10 seconds during the course of my day. And while the kettle is boiling, we'll just look at what I think I want to achieve today. Now, I'm a little bit early for this job because I don't want to be doing it with the sun on this wall. I think by the time I've drunk tea, that will be just about okay. I think I've patched in up underneath the gutter. I've patched in one or two other little bits, and yeah, I think there's a fighting chance that we'll get a certain amount of this job done. Yes, other people might have other ideas, but we'll get some of this done. Now, let's go and see what it is that was so important that I bought it at the shops today. In part, this is a French lesson. What you spread on walls, in English we would normally call render. But if you want to do it in France, and if you go and ask for render in France, they'll look at you a bit bemused. So what we use is enduit de façade. Now, I like this stuff. It's strange to mix. It doesn't mix particularly easily. You know, you put the water in the bucket and then you put the powder in, and then you really do need to stir it. It doesn't sort of soak the water up the way that some materials do. It tells us that it's a one coat fine, and it tells us that it's Touraine yellow. Yeah, it tells us that it's ideal for weatherproofing and finishing fine aspects, and you can put it direct onto pretty much whatever wall was already there. So there we are. Tea next.